Right, mate? Here we are. First podcast ever, right?
Welcome. I mean, it's really not a welcome back, is it? It's welcome.
It's a welcome back to the future selves, the future Daniel and Drew.
If you're here, you're either one of the most loyal fans we've got, you're our parents, or we've made it massive, and you're just looking back at, like, you're sorting YouTube by date oldest to newest. I mean, that's the only reason I can imagine anyone would want to listen to this.
This potential trash, but potential gold. This is where the magic happens.
You would hope so.
Dude, I'm ready for this. This is gonna be so much fun now.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I feel like that's what's wrong with a lot of YouTube.
What?
Like, I'll try not to go into too much detail because like we really
do go into detail.
We haven't like done very much introduction. Like, I feel like a lot of people going into YouTube go into with the intent, like, they see like Logan Paul, all these crazy stupid rich YouTubers, and they're just like, this is an easy way to make money.
Yeah, honestly, like, one of the things I keep thinking about when I'm thinking we're gonna do this, it's like, it'll just be fun to look back on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, especially at this point, like, in our lives, you know what I mean? But you always have to think, what if?
Yeah, right? Like, I don't know, mate. What if we make it big?
So, I mean...
16-year-old podcasters?
Yeah, you just think...
Could happen.
Because you see, like, the YouTube, like, the scene, the age. You're starting to see the really, like, the original YouTubers. They're getting, like, into their upper 20s. And you kind of just wonder, like, how long are they going to last? You know what I mean? Like, are they going to hit an age where they become, like, unrelatable? Which I think, like, is a lot of the reason people watch YouTube, because they can relate to it a lot. Like, the whole internet, like, when people see these, like, huge stars on like, Broadway and in Hollywood, they find it really hard to, like, empathize with them.
Yeah, but then when you look at, like, these, like, Instagram famous, Viners, ex-Viners, I guess, YouTubers, all that, it seems, like, easier to relate, because it's not, you don't need a... $1,000 film crew. Yeah, it's just us with our phones and headphones.
There's some people have gotten up to that.
True.
But it didn't start like that. Yeah. I agree. Of course, it's gonna change. It's kind of funny, like everything, like all these like social media outlets. They kind of they're kind of trying to mirror the TV.
Yeah.
Television scene.
I think it's.
Whereas television is trying to do the opposite.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to make it more. I always think about YouTube as, like, when you think of people being, like, the minority, so when you look at Logan Paul and all those big YouTubers, and you're just like, oh, well, why couldn't I do that? And people say, oh, it's because the odds of that happening are so few. It's like, oh, why would it be you, right? It's like, so why not? It's got to be someone, right?
Yeah, it's like a lottery, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you think it has to be someone. Like, why shouldn't it be me?
Yeah.
And why couldn't it be me? And now it's super difficult because, like, back in, like, when YouTube was just first, like, coming out, if you nailed down a certain topic, say, like, FIFA YouTubers, so, like, for instance, like, KSI, get to the game super early on. Just taps into the market, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you're the first voice out there.
I mean, it's pretty much like a monopoly, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then YouTube just blows up, and all of a sudden people are searching. They're like, I want to watch this on YouTube, and this guy's been cranking out videos for almost a year, and you're like, yeah, I mean, that'll satisfy even if the content isn't the best, and even if it's developed to be something completely different now, they've already developed the fan base. So they can now, like, they can broaden their kind of content, like, with, like, the True Jordy. Like, you know, he started just, like, making football rant videos.
Yeah.
And now he's, like, doing, like, things like the football holiday, you know, where he's, like, traveling across Europe, and, like, and doing, obviously, podcasting, over 100 podcasts, something like that, and doing these, like, really well-produced, like, shorts. And the Coral, which is like a live stream. It's just like if you once you develop that kind of audience, and they like you as a person, and not just for the content that you make.
Yeah.
Then that's when you can, like, that's when you can get out of your comfort zone and then really make something that you can be proud of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that. And I just like really appreciate how YouTube is. People have to address it now. It's no longer just like, oh, YouTube, that fluke, the nonsense on the internet,
Yeah,
right?
like you can't just explain away 30 million
Yeah,
subscribers
like when
on YouTube.
when you look at the FIFA 18, the El Tornado, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's got Rodashaw in that trailer, and that's like that was everywhere. So FIFA had to recognize that a lot of people knew their game from YouTube, from gamers that were just streaming, playing that game, right?
Yeah.
Putting that everywhere. So they were like, all right, guess we're going to capitalize on this and put a huge YouTuber in the face of their ad. Like,
And obviously YouTubers like that, like when you started YouTube at that point, like how well established they are, you didn't start YouTube for money back then. You know what I mean? Like, because there was no money in it. Now there's huge, like, massive ad deals. There's like ads run on the YouTube videos, but like sponsorship deals, like it's almost like every 10 or so videos you get to like one of those hashtag ad videos. You know, it's just, and like I think one of the biggest like tech YouTubers on YouTube, MKBHD, like smartphone, like a bunch of smartphone reviews.
yeah.
Like super respected. Like I watch all of his videos. Like he said this phone is smart when he was reviewing the Google Pixel 2.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the Google Pixel 2 TV commercial is quoting him. Like, and I know it's Google and they own YouTube, but that just like it just vies for the gravity.
Yeah, and just the effect
like
that
YouTube is now a reliable source because so many and you can't really deny it because there's so many people on it.
Yeah, and I think it's just also it's so much more accessible than like cable TV.
Oh yeah, and
Like
I mean,
these big productions.
being
like,
free doesn't hurt.
Well,
does
yeah,
it?
exactly. Like all you do is Wi-Fi, and then boom, you've
Which-
got YouTube at your fingertips.
Which at this point is pretty much a basic human right. I'm pretty sure the
Oh yeah, in like
the
first world
EU
countries, yeah.
Yeah,
you
the
basically.
the EU literally lists as like a basic right. But yeah, I mean, just the scale of it and the accessibility, it just makes people feel at home. Whereas on TV, it's just, even if it's not, it just feels fake.
Yeah, it still
Like,
feels
you're like-
a bit foreign.
You're like, it's TV. You know?
Yeah, there's still that gap, and I always love how like YouTubers, they'll start off on YouTube, and then for some reason they always think, oh, the next step is
It's TV.
TV, movies, stuff like that. And then I never quite understood that. Like I do get the prestige because most of these YouTubers being whatever 20 years old, right? Growing up before YouTube, seeing TV as like the best way to be known.
That's the stage.
That's the big thing. So they kind of see that as the next step, even though I honestly disagree with like.
I mean, yeah, just in like as their like journey has kind of progressed, like YouTube has surpassed.
Yeah, exactly.
TV, you know what I mean? So now they've already got this huge following, but you still have people that go into YouTube with like the ambitions to like direct and stuff.
Oh yeah.
When like in reality that may or may not lead in a dead end. You know what I mean? Which I mean YouTube might lead in a dead end.
It's getting shaky.
It's getting shaky. It's gone back to that the 5% always ruin it for the 95, isn't it?
Exactly. The minorities always
Speaks
yell the
loud.
loudest, right?
Yeah, I've always wondered about like, because nobody's ever seen anything like YouTube before.
Oh yeah, it's so, and it hasn't really been like copied. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like YouTube has always been its own. So you've got MySpace that evolved into Facebook, that evolved into Twitter, and even though those platforms are linked, I still feel like YouTube will always be a little bit different.
And you see kind of knockoffs like Vimeo and stuff. But you know they just don't offer the community that YouTube offers.
Oh no.
You know, like you don't see massive comment sections and like the feedback that it can offer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, some people choose not to look at that feedback at all, but I guess that's up to them, isn't it?
That'll be funny. The 3 comments we get on this video.
It's like You guys suck. You don't know what you're talking about. Great work, keep it up.
And that last one's from your mom.
It's also downvoted a bunch of times.
Yeah, true.
Actually, speaking of like the whole end of YouTube thing, like there's some more tech tubers, like two huge ones. Linus Tech Tips, he does daily, like they just pump out content like daily.
Still quality
videos. Though. Mhm. Yeah, still like huge production, like those like red $50,000 cameras and stuff like that. Him and this other tech tube, like smaller but similar tech tuber, like they've created this thing called Float Plane.
All right.
Which is like completely independent from YouTube, and it's like a paid service.
That's sweet.
So it's like $3 a month. Obviously now it's in like beta and stuff, and they're looking for like obviously more people to post to it, but like just to have something to fall back on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the only really benefit right now is that you get to watch videos like a week early. Which if you think about it does. Why would that even matter in the long run? I mean, it's gonna be up there. Yeah, I mean, then you're just gonna be waiting for the next video to come out on Float Plane instead of on YouTube, isn't it? Yeah, things like that. Twitch is interesting. I like Twitch. I like it. I still don't really understand it.
What do you mean, like?
How do people make? Okay, other than like subscriptions, which are like $5, right? Like monthly.
I think so. Like I think it might. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't been on Twitch in a while. I just remember there was a period where I was really into streaming.
And then you just kind of fell out with it.
Yeah, it's kind of faded. Well, because like the reason I was like enjoying Twitch, it was because the YouTubers that I liked were like, oh yeah, and at the end of at the video they would plug whatever
their Twitch, like they stream on like Tuesdays or something, Thursdays or something like that.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, like. I'm not quite sure. I think it's like $5 per month to describe.
And there's donations too.
Yeah, you see a lot of people donate for messages on.
Oh yeah.
At least there's some funny moments. But I always feel like the problem with Twitch is that the only reason that I watch people streaming on Twitch is because I like their content that they post on YouTube.
Yeah, true. Like it's that is the bridge. Mm-hmm. To span that gap.
I mean, I guess that's how it starts, isn't it?
Yeah, true.
People just shift over to another platform.
Have you ever looked into stuff on like YouTube?
That YouTube Live. It's from what I've seen from it, it's not popular at all. Like YouTube Gaming, like I think they tried to push it a lot, but I don't really think it stuck. I
don't think so. There was the YouTuber Matt Pat, who's the channel Game Theory. He, I guess, is really involved with YouTube. So
like on an inside, like
on like a business level. He obviously, they probably gave him a bit of an incentive to stick to YouTube Live. And I know, so I would watch his stuff, and it was just, it didn't seem aesthetically pleasing. Like the format was just iffy. I don't know, maybe I'm looking at it through brown tinted glasses, you know what I mean? But
the numbers speak for themselves. Really. I mean, Fortnite right now has got 1,000 people live on YouTube Gaming Live. And then you look, Fortnite's got 35,000 viewers.
Christ.
On Twitch. I mean, these massive, like, League of Legends. 140,000 right now.
That's wild.
Dungeons and Dragons has 75,000 people watching.
Dungeons and Dragons, is that an online version, or just like people just chilling playing D&D?
Or maybe they like stream tournament. I don't know. It looks like it is online. Oh wait, no, it's just videos of people playing.
Dudes just chilling around. Honestly, all right, I need to watch that, because oh my god, there was this one show. Dan Harmon, God, I forget what show he makes. Okay, so he's got this show called Harmon Quest. Can you look it up real quick? It's really funny, and it's literally him, two other permanent hosts, and then
fantasy role playing.
Dude, it is so funny. They just like literally in front of a live audience for like an hour an episode. They just basically play Dungeons and Dragons,
like
essentially,
just like on the spot.
Yeah, and then they animate it afterwards as well.
It's like whose line is it anyway?
Literally, it's like
but medieval.
Dude, some of the highest quality bands came out of that show. It's excellent.
Nothing good to watch.
I forget who. What does he do? Harmon, like. I think he
goes on quests.
He allegedly, yeah. He did something else, and then that's how I found out about that show.
Like you found him like via another show that was probably like more, like probably was more down your alley. You know what I mean?
It's that show is really fun though. If someone's trying to check it out.
Right now we have 100. I haven't even heard this game. 103 viewers on a game called Hyper Light Drifter. Have you heard of that?
Hyper Light Drifter. I don't think so. No.
100,000 viewers on that right now. Like I'm just looking at screenshots. I have never seen anything of this game. It must have come out recently.
Oh, it looks interesting though.
Leave a comment if you want to see us play it on Twitch. we're really good.
We'll first have to create a Twitch.
But we'll do anything for you live. Let's see. It came out. It's 2017. So it's not that new. It came out in like August. Or no, earlier than that. June. That's not even close.
Oh dear.
I've never heard of it.
Flew under the radar, I guess.
Maybe it's super popular in Asia.
Possibly.
You see that in a lot of things. You're like, I've never even heard of this. And it's like number one on the top charts in like India or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. But yeah, like the other problem I find with Twitch is I can never sit down and watch Twitch. I always have it on as background.
Yeah, same. I feel like there's only sometimes that I can really be invested in.
Like with YouTube, it's all scripted. Well, not necessarily scripted.
But it's edited down to the best part. Well, for the most case, unless you're looking at a hour-long podcast. Such
Which
as
in that case, you should check ours out. It's pretty decent.
Or so the critics we've been critically acclaimed.
Critically acclaimed. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you just see they set out with the intention to record this and only that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing in that video that wasn't supposed to be in the video.
Yeah. In Twitch, is there like a
buffer?
Like a highlight? Or no, I know there's a buffer. Like a highlight video? Like, are you able to post?
I don't know. I don't.
Because I always find it's like one guy that I watched that he always streamed, Jericho. Mm-hmm. Great stuff. I think he's really doing well right now. But like I found out about him on YouTube, and I found out he streamed good stuff on Twitch, and then he would always post highlights onto his YouTube.
I've seen people.
So it's kind of like, do I watch the Twitch or do I just watch the best parts on YouTube?
Uh-huh. But I almost feel like when that, like, it almost kills the experience. Another thing that's huge about Twitch that I'm surprised we haven't even talked about, like the interaction.
Oh yeah, with the chat.
Yeah. And like people, because you'll see people on streams that like the streamer recognizes. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like they'll be like, "Yo, what's up?"
It's like, "Oh yeah, I remember you from last week's stream."
Yeah, and that's not necessarily because they're a subscriber. You know what I mean? Because they subscribe to them or like are a mod or something like that.
That's why one of my favorite things that I would do when I was in that period of just watching Twitch streams, I would find a game that I liked and then go so low on the view count. I'm talking like 24 maximum.
Yeah, and then they respond to everything.
Yeah, respond to every chat, and it's so much fun because you start to build up a relationship with these people, and if you like their stuff, you come back, right? And I guess that's all how it all starts.
Yeah. Good guy Daniel sorts by the fewest viewers on Twitch instead of most viewers.
Dude, I'd come across some interesting people. There was this one dude that had a theme where like he was a captain, so he wore a captain's hat. Like he was playing Fallout 4.
Uh-huh. That's not even related.
And his
maybe he was playing Far Harbor.
His character was dressed like a captain. and it was just like he was just a neat dude. He had a big beard. Oh God, he was a cool guy.
Oh, you know, you can't talk about Twitch without talking about Twitch plays.
Dear Lord.
It can turn into some gold, like the whole Twitch plays Pokemon. And I'm pretty sure I think they beat at least one game.
What was that?
It might have been Pokemon Red. Don't quote me on that though. June 2017.
I think that's exactly what I'm gonna quote you on.
2018.
Oh God, it is 2018.
Yo, I've only messed
isn't
that
it?
up once on a piece of paper, but that's mainly because I've only used a piece of paper once in school this year.
Everything else is on Google.
Welcome to the future, Google.
Dude, I got a 44 out of 45 on a history final project today. That was so annoying.
It wasn't a podcast, was it?
No. We had to do a.
That was for AP.
We had to do a history project. It was so vague. We had to choose 2 things to make presentations on, and we didn't even have to present them. We just gave them to them.
Oh, that's weird.
So I just made a couple
Why not
slideshows.
just make an essay? No.
And it was like we had to go into like the who, what, why, and when of whatever we chose. So like I chose like a conspiracy theory about JFK.
Excellent.
Wild. I should get into that later. And then free speech versus hate speech. Also should get into that later. And on the free speech versus hate speech one, he was like, I should have gone further into detail on the why. And I filled this slide.
You're like,
size 12 font.
And you know that you probably did the best project in the class.
Right.
As well.
It was a good project. And he had to give me the 44 out of 45. Had to give it to me.
There's always room for improvement.
Always. Oh my God. No such thing as a perfect project.
Oh my God. It's like, then what's the perfect score even there? Is it going to be unobtainable? It's like
That unobtainium.
it's like you'll see those Steam games that like have like an achievement just to piss off completionists. But that'll be like, play the game over a span of 10 years. It's like, why?
Why am I doing this?
It's like the developer has gone out of his way to mug people up.
Man, what's that thing you say? $1 for every hour you play, they'd really be getting their money's worth. If you picked it up literally once a week for 10 years.
I mean, pardon my calculations. That's 420. That's 520 hours.
Oh my
Lord! Up the math already. Dude, that just makes you think about like those poor games and the backlogs of that people. I feel completionism is pretty interesting to talk about. You know, like I think I was reading this one thread about, because I genuinely like, I'm pretty interested in people that like complete like 100% games. And some people said like they just want to, they feel bad when they don't explore everything that developers have put into the game. Like it's almost like you, for a movie.
That's a different way. I've never really looked at it that way. I've always thought of it like there's just something in that person that just drives them. Like I have to, almost like an OCD kind of thing.
Yeah, that
or
was
maybe like a pride.
But they were almost like saying like you wouldn't only watch like 75% of a movie. But I feel like that's definitely different, because in the movie, the main objective in the game doesn't only make up 75%. It makes up the whole movie. You know what I mean? Like it revolves around like the whole movie. So.
Yeah, that's like a more accurate kind of analogy would almost be, you've got your original cut of a movie, and then there's usually like a bonus. Do you know what I mean? That turns a 2-hour movie into a 2.5-hour movie with like extra scenes and stuff like that. I feel like that's almost kind of what they're getting at, just really trying to go into the work the developers put into it. But yeah, no, I've never really thought about it like that, but looking at it in that light definitely kind of changes my opinion on the whole goal.
Yeah, I don't know, this I was kind of, so I just finished playing the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild game. And it was like it was a really good game, but like, and I put around 60, like, I think like 62 or 63 hours in it, so I technically got my money's worth in my book. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like if it hits that, then I'm super satisfied. But I almost felt like I didn't play it enough, even though like if we're just looking at like the time,
Yeah.
I played it constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like there was almost some things in the game that felt like unobtainable. So like for instance, these like Korok seeds.
Okay.
So basically, you have to look in like every like nook and cranny in the world, and like sometimes you'll find if you complete like little tiny like puzzles. So like say there'll be 2 apples in bowls, and there's a third bowl. If you put an apple in the bowl, a little dude will appear
Okay.
and give you one of these seeds. And so basically, and then you take these seeds and you give them to this one dude, and he will upgrade your inventory slots.
Yeah.
But the problem is there are 900 of these seeds in the game.
Wow.
And I think I found 15 of them in the game. And maybe that's just me not exploring enough.
Yeah.
And just me being so, like, having blinders on when it comes to, like, finishing the main quest. Which I am kind of guilty of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think I did a single, maybe 1 or 2 side quests. Just because I stumbled upon them. And it wasn't out of the way. You know what I mean?
Just like the convenient.
Mm-hmm.
They still have to be. I think we were talking about this a little earlier. They need to be engaging, not the same.
For sure. I mean,
not the same cookie cutter your
I've seen-
traditional formats of your
Fetch
fetch
this.
quests.
Yeah.
Your God, there's a few.
The following quest.
Yeah, like you just trail somebody, or you need to lead somebody somewhere. Those are I hate those. Those are always awful.
The eavesdropping one, Assassin's Creed, is probably the worst offender of that one, isn't it?
Like I know, Fallout 4. Oh, whenever I've played that game through a few times, loved every playthrough.
Oh yeah.
But there's this one mission where, and it's super early on in the game, which is why I hate it. You have to go into this house, and it's like crucial to the main story. So you go in, you help these people out, and then you have to walk them back to your settlement. So like you're in, oh god, I forget what the settlement is called for some reason. But you start here, which is the neighborhood that you lived in before the bombs dropped. You go into town, you find them.
Fetch these people.
Yeah, and they're like, oh well, we're gonna build a settlement in this neighborhood, and you're like, okay, that's where I live, and you have to walk there. And if your character was to get there, it takes like no time at all, right? Not even fast traveling, just like a brisk walk.
And on the way back, it turns into a walking simulator.
Yeah, literally. So it's just you chaperoning these just grown adults, just stumbling their way down this road.
Incompetent. But yeah, like the quests were just I had no reason to complete them. You know what I mean? Like. And once I got presented with like the first few like the first 5 quests, I just realized there's literally nothing to them.
Yeah.
So why is it worth my time? And I'm not like asking for the reward to be good for the quest, but I want it to be like A, worth my time, and B, like like I want to feel satisfied after I complete it, or like I want it to affect the world in some other way.
Well, yeah, that was one of the things, like, to go back to Fallout 4, there was one quest that obviously you didn't have to complete, but you find these Deathclaw eggs, right? Which is, for people that don't know, the hardest, or one of, like, the most difficult and, like, renowned Fallout enemies, right?
Like an overworld kind of boss, yeah.
So, you find these eggs, and you can either give them to these super shady guys that live in this one city, like the huge city, Diamond City. You can either give them to them because they like ask you about it, or you can go return it to the Deathclaw's nest, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. But they're wherever they live, right? You can return them, and like if you return them and you go back to that place where the shady dudes are, they get mad and they like fight you. And that's kind of the stuff that I'm like, it makes me think morally. So like, what should I do? Should I give back these eggs? Should I give them to these guys?
I feel like a huge part of the like role playing games is like decision making.
Oh
like,
yeah,
I feel like
and you want those to matter.
It's super underrated. Like people really don't like when it's there. They're like, yeah, this should be here. But when it's there, it's not there. There's just something missing from the game, and people don't always realize what it is. Like in Breath of the Wild, like there is no decision to be
it's just
good. I mean, like it's not like GTA. You don't have to be a good guy or a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
But like there's no depth to the side quest.
Well,
like,
even
it's not affecting anything later. So like why do it or why not do it? You know what I mean?
True. Well, even in like GTA, there's no like if you're a good guy, cool. If you're a bad guy, also cool. Like there's no real repercussions. I guess that's kind of like the draw of GTA is you can just like drive a plane onto a highway and just kind of do whatever.
Half the people don't even play the campaign; they just screw around online.
That's the fun of it.
But I feel like games like Skyrim did that great. Did that really well.
Have you ever looked into like Telltale Games, that company?
Is that do they do?
They make the Walking Dead games. Oh my dude.
Those games were.
Do you know what I'm talking about though? The Walking Dead games.
Yeah, like the story ones.
Yeah, the story-based ones where like if you choose to lead your group into this house, some of your people can die. Like, and if you would have chosen to go under that bridge, they wouldn't have died. Like, and it changes the endings. I am fascinated by those games because the amount of work that's put into those is just astonishing.
Yeah, like, it doesn't just follow like a template. Like, there's actually a lot of creative influence there.
And like in Mass Effect, I heard people were upset about, I think it was Mass Effect 3, where one of the selling points was your choices mattered, but in the end it was just 3 different endings.
Yeah.
So like, the difference in that to something like a Telltale Games kind of game is like when you have the different seasons of the Walking Dead games, if you have these people survive in the first season, in the second season, the people that died off just don't exist. You don't encounter them, right? And you'll hear people talk about them, and you'll have to live with, like, your choices led to their deaths, and, like, was that worth it? Do you know what I mean?
Like, was it worth it to hear these people, like, hold you to that?
Yeah, and even, like, further than that, like, did you risk their life at the benefit of somebody else's? And I love that. You should definitely, if not buy it, give it a watch somebody's Let's Play.
Yeah, some people don't understand like the whole Let's Play thing.
Yeah, that was always, I never understood why people were so negative against.
I feel like a whole lot of people, you're either really hot or cold on that. Like,
it's
like you could either say, why would you ever watch someone just play a video game instead of playing it yourself, or why would you not watch that?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Like, it's exactly, you're right. It's kind of just like, for I guess our generation, it's so much more normalized, and for not older people, but I guess a few years past.
I mean, pretty much any.
There's always just this disconnect, like
any age group that didn't grow up with you two. Like there's just like a pretty clear cut line.
It's just like our age group. It's kind of like you see somebody playing a game and you're like, oh, that's cool, I'll watch that, and then there's just this complete disconnect and just this fog where someone like our parents, like, why would you just watch them play this game
instead of playing it yourself?
Yeah. And then I just say, you watch football on TV. You don't play football.
I don't want to play football.
It's like the same reason you don't play football because you've got a bad hip is the same reason I don't play these games because I'm not good at them. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't play competitive Overwatch because I'm not good at it. I appreciate that skill,
That's true. Yeah.
and it's entertaining to me.
Yeah, I think Boogie 298. That one Francis personality. Like he said, he was doing like going over his games of the year, and he was like, for some of the games, he was like, it's a great game. If you can't play it, you should definitely watch someone play it. And that's like the first time that I've heard someone like intentionally recommend to watch someone play a game, and it was really like I was just really fascinated by that, because you never really hear people encouraging that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but
that
there's so much content out there,
Oh, exactly. It's just, yeah, like Cuphead, the impossible games to play through, and games of that nature. Yeah, if you can't experience that game for yourself, why not still experience the game, but just with somebody else? Like, that's what I feel like some people don't understand. The difference is when you're watching somebody play, a good YouTuber makes you feel like you're with them.
That's what I was gonna say. It's like there's a huge difference from looking up how do I beat Super Mario level 5 to Super Mario playthrough. Because
you're in the journey with them.
The person playing especially if you from the beginning and you like have a relationship with that person, like, and you like them as a person, like they add something to the game that wouldn't be there if you didn't play. Like if you didn't play, if you played it, like rather than watching it.
Clap, spike in audio. That's how you'll know. We're back. Just took a bit of a break. It's kind of that's funny though. That was our introduction. Like that started as an introduction, and then you spiraled out of control.
But I feel like it's funny because I went into this thinking that the first one was gonna be super like linear, and that we were gonna like kind of stumble and have to go like on a set list of topics. Like we're gonna have to cut this off.
And just
like not even be able to address everything.
Oh yeah.
That we want to talk about. But I guess that leaves something good for the next one.
So to go back into that introduction that we half skipped over.
Yeah, you've been listening to this podcast and you're like, I don't even know who these guys. I still don't even know who these people are.
All you know basically is that we're youngish. We watch people play games. We play games.
We're stupid enough to watch people play video games and watch. Not only on YouTube, but on Twitch. It's not even like, we're stupid enough to just sit there and watch people play games live.
Yeah.
Like, to literally just sit behind them and watch them playing video games.
Hold on. To stay away from the introduction, for just another sec, do you think you'd ever, like how we were watching that Overwatch final, do you think you could watch, like, a game, like in not a stadium, but, like, do you know how they set those up? Like the MLG.
Oh, God, I don't know.
Call of Duty, stuff like that?
I'm still not like totally sold on esports. I think they're sick, but like I'm still not totally sold on watching them.
Okay.
And like I really appreciate them and like how these people have mastered their craft.
Oh yeah.
And it's really cool to see the development. Like if you see Rocket League, like these people that are at like the Rocket League Championship Series, if you go back and watch the very first Championship Series that they had, it was poor. Like, it was just like it's the level that like casual people.
Yeah.
Like we are at.
So like, what you're saying is, when I invent a time machine, I'm going back to the invention of Rocket League, and I'm gonna make it big as a pro Rocket League player.
Have you plateaued?
I think I could definitely get better from here.
You can always get better if you play 20.
Hey, you don't have to be the best. You just have to be the first.
Me too. If you play 8 hours a day, of course you can be better.
Yeah, true. It's kind of like that. Why are professional soccer players better? It's like, well, they get paid to be professional soccer players, so they get paid to lift weights, play on the ball.
If you pay me to play soccer.
Yeah, I bet I'd be pretty darn good.
Maybe I wouldn't be garbage.
Also, add that to the list of things you know about us. We both play soccer.
And yeah, hopefully you'll be getting a little more of that.
Maybe that's how we'll introduce ourselves. We'll just sprinkle little bits of little hints and.
Yeah, soccer was supposed to come after the introduction, but we kind of just went ham on YouTube.
On YouTube, Twitch,
but I would in the future. I mean, I would definitely feel more motivated to get into the weight room if I was getting paid.
Yeah, the big bucks.
If I was getting literally anything.
They could be the small bucks too. I don't know.
Someone just gave me $5 on the way into the weight room. I'd be like, yeah, I'm motivated.
I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna go.
I'm hype.
I'm gonna go.
Like I would lift those weights like I have a chance at playing college soccer above Div 3. In a few years, which again, high school.
Hints, mate. Hints.
Can't be too obvious about
we
it.
got. This is where you're gonna end up, like just a crossword puzzle. It's like, okay, all 5 of our viewers are gonna be like, alright, who are these guys?
They're gonna have to like piece it together. See, you'll only know if you listen to the whole thing.
Spoiler alert: I'm a 40-year-old midget that's still in high school.
No, but getting licenses, you know, not getting girls.
Yeah, that is the life, unfortunately.
Getting bad grades, I mean, you pretty much get everything you don't want.
Yeah. Genital warts too, those.
Oh my
Those
god. You know what?
I'm kidding, I don't have genital warts. I hope not, at least.
I feel like at least my driving is going a little better than Wayne Rooney.
Oh my lord,
He
stop.
gets a DUI. What was
How
it?
long ago was that? That was like a couple months, right?
Yeah, but he's still doing community service.
What? That was his punishment? Are you kidding me? They didn't just like take a huge chunk out of his paycheck?
Maybe that's. Well, I'm sure they did, but he's in trouble with the law.
No, I mean like as in a fine is what I mean. Not just like,
No, like I'm sure they did, but like the community service, like that was like the court gave him that.
that's garbage. If I was the English court, I much rather would have just like yeah, it's
That's
cute.
my number 10.
It's cute to have him do community service, but I definitely would have rather just taken like a huge portion of money and just given it to a different community.
Maybe that doesn't
Not
get
a
enough.
community service, but like
Foundation.
yeah,
something
like a
that.
foundation, a charity, something like that, something that can affect change, hopefully, rather than just goddamn Wayne Rooney picking up trash
Picking up
on
three.
the highway.
He does that on the pitch, doesn't he?
He is the
I mean,
trash nowadays.
Everton have been shocking.
Shambolic, one might say.
Honestly, if you ask me what the biggest surprise of the Premier League would be, it honestly isn't even that Man City. Like obviously, Man City are doing so well, and can't take anything away from that. But the other biggest surprise to me was like just the burning up of West Ham and Everton.
Really fallen. They were looking good a couple years ago, thinking they were on the up. And then
yeah,
just,
it's kind of sad. I kind of like I kind of low key like I cheer. I didn't root for them because obviously like Arsenal, but I cheer for them.
you
know
just when the arse isn't on.
Yeah, as it, like if I'm a new like, I would sway towards them just because
Okay.
I don't know, I kind of like just the demeanor of their club
Mhm.
and like the direction it takes. Everton, I mean, I can't say the same for that. They can get relegated for all I care.
I think it'd be funny. I think it'd definitely be a
If you wake
punch
up,
in the nose. Yeah.
is that the same thing that happened with like Bolton and stuff?
I think that was different when there was much less. That was before there was a lot of money. In
So
soccer
and
and
really
the Prem.
anyone could.
Yeah, so
get
anyone
promoted,
and their dog could
Mm-hmm.
win the league. Like, the who am I thinking of? Rose on the badge, mug,
Blackburn.
Blackburn. That's what I'm thinking of. Like, they've got one along with Leicester, and then everyone else has like 5 and 6.
Yeah. There's like there's no mid. There's no,
You're either great or you're bad.
There's no in the middle. It's kind of like the Premier League. Like they're just so like the mid-table teams. They're always there, but they're never there.
Exactly. It's always. I feel like they're always the ones to beat, though. Honestly. I feel
Honestly.
like often it's been, or recently, it's kind of been like the big teams going at it have been meh.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
like when you've got Chelsea taking on Burnley,
all of a sudden fireworks.
they just
It's a fire. All
They
of a sudden
lose
it's
it.
a 6-goal thriller with a late winner. Okay, well obviously it can't be a late winner if it's an even number of goals, but you know what I mean.
got the idea there, yeah.
It's in the FA Cup. They're on away goals. Yeah, it's almost like teams that are either at the very bottom or like in 10th are always super challenging.
Yeah, exactly.
Crystal Palace take points away from Manchester City. They should have won too.
Right.
Imagine how funny that would have been.
For them to end their
Their winless draw. I think they're actually doing pretty well now.
who, Palace or
Yeah,
City?
Palace. Really, all the clubs that were struggling. It's gone from the.
Oh, yeah, Everton was almost in.
It's gone
they were in
back. It's
16th at one point.
It's pretty
right?
much got back to the predictions that people had.
Oh, true.
You know what I mean? Like if you were like, all right, all the crazy is gone. Let's just chill. Go back to how it was. Because I don't like change.
Do you think City were gonna win the league earlier this year, before the league started?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, I can't say I can't say I thought Arsenal were gonna win with like a straight face.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they can always contest, but they'll never like win unless big changes are made. I don't know. You mean you always kind of back the. Actually, that's kind of an interesting point. Do you really ever back the previous league winners?
I was pretty confident that Chelsea would give it a fair shot.
I mean, not to say
right?
that they aren't up there, because
Yeah, they're what?
they're only a
third,
point beyond
second?
United.
I
mean, that said, they're also
10, 11 off?
They're also 16 points off.
Christ.
City.
Yeah, I don't know. They're just. I think it is rough to win it back to back.
Mhm.
Because obviously, when you have a club that wins the league, I feel like everyone else is like, okay, how do we improve?
Mm-hmm.
But then the team that won the league is like, all right, that worked. Let's just keep that.
It's just.
And then they just get surpassed.
It's like an excuse to not change.
Yeah, to not
stay with
innovate.
To not innovate. That's a good word. I don't know. I mean, I looked at the table.
I always, in terms of league predictions, I want to say that I thought that Man City would be up there, definitely Champions League,
Yeah.
and they'd have a shot at first, but I did not think they
Yeah, I don't
would
think
be
no one
this
predicted.
far ahead. I honestly thought Man U would have given it a better shot than they have this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think I looked at Man U's squad, and I thought they were gonna win the Prem.
Yeah.
Like early doors.
And realistically, it's kind of arbitrary. I don't know why looking back on it, I feel like I thought Man U was going to win it.
I think I was the same way.
But looking back on it, Man City did so much more in order to.
Oh yeah, I mean.
Pep did such a great job with that squad.
I mean, yeah. Say what you want about spending $50 million on fullbacks, but.
Gets
it
results
worked.
apparently. Gets results apparently.
Yeah, apparently it gets results, and then you have a second team who can win pretty much every game in the Champions League except for Shakhtar.
Oh my god.
But then you have you can pretty much rest and rotate all your starting lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if he's signing these big players to start, but he's keeping the quality.
Yeah.
He's not just selling players because they no longer are the best in that position in the club, in that role in the club.
How young? That is a fairly young team, right?
It is, yeah. I mean,
Like Ederson's young.
just thinking.
How old is De Bruyne?
He's
24?
not- He's not. Yeah, he's not old at all. I mean, like players like Mendy and maybe Otamendi might be not. He's not getting up there, but like he's definitely more experienced.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you think of people like
He's definitely got more experience on the national level, right?
Yeah, you think of people like Aguero.
I want to say he's almost like 27.
I think he seems like he's been around forever. I mean, and he's always there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's always a threat. I feel like no one ever really. He's almost 30.
Really?
Mhm. But he still hasn't really fallen off form. He always bags in goals every year. Like, I'm pretty sure he's like pretty much the most experienced player in that.
In that squad?
In that squad, yeah. Fernandinho.
All right, here's the prediction. All the Bands TV. You heard it here first. Harry Kane is going to go to City. So this is over like the next like 6-7 years.
Okay.
Harry Kane is going to go to City soon, right?
Like
Year.
summer.
Yeah, summer. I'm thinking,
I'd say
right?
next summer.
Because I think
Not this summer.
I think once City wins the league, because it's
They've
not
already won.
confirmed,
I mean, they've already won
but
it, haven't they?
they're
I
gonna
mean, they
win
play
it.
like champions.
Yeah.
That's how champions play.
So, Man City wins the league. Kane's interests are peaked.
Mm-hmm.
City's looking for a rotation, right? Because they
Champions
do have Gabriel Jesus, but he's not.
He's not proven, but he's a good player.
Yeah,
He's got some injury
he's good to
issues,
have.
doesn't he?
But I definitely do think that Harry Kane could definitely slide into their team.
For sure.
And then you've got a very high quality but still young team. And then I think Man City's gonna hit some golden years. Do you know what I mean? That
Just start just
that
like
that Sir
United.
Alex Ferguson. That like those are gonna be the years that everyone remembers.
Will that be with Pep, or will he be?
I
gone
think
then?
it'll be Pep.
You think so?
I think he's done so much for them in 2 years.
Oh,
Do you know
yeah.
what I mean? He's turned
I mean,
not turned the club around, but
Say what you want about last year, but they were in a pretty rough spot.
oh yeah, the
mean-
new manager.
They're getting top 6. I mean, it's like saying Arsenal's in the tough spot.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
still top 6, but you always want more than that.
Especially when you have that much kind of cash. But
Uh-huh.
I think he's done well enough, and he's still got ages to coach. Look at how old.
That's true.
Look at how
Fucking
old,
Wenger's about to turn
dried
over.
up.
I mean, he's like that man over there.
Old,
mean,
old
you really-
Arsene Wenger.
Sometimes you worry if we actually win some silverware, he'll have a heart attack. I mean, if we actually win away, a top 6 club, that'll be it.
He'll drop
That'll
dead
be
right
it.
there.
I mean, he'll die happy. I mean, at least you gotta think that. But you gotta think the man. I mean, what's he doing? I mean,
Why is he still hanging on?
yeah,
He's hated by literally half the club
at least half the club.
for 80% of the season, or for like 60% of the season.
Not just this season, last season as well. I mean, any other top 6 club. Okay, you look at me in the eye and tell Conte. Okay, this is a bad example because he got 10th, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, no.
That was
After-
first season.
say
You
after-
get a pass first
You look
season.
me, you look me in the eye and tell me that after being at the club for, I'm not gonna say 20 years, like Arsene has been, but if you've been at the club for like, say Jose Mourinho has been at the club for 10 years, gets 6th and an FA Cup win, you tell me he's staying manager. 6th.
It wouldn't be acceptable if it was like any few seasons less. Do you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
It's the fact that Arsene's the old family dog that nobody wants to put out to pasture. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't understand why is this acceptable for Arsenal and not for anybody else?
I think it's because they're a kind of a can't think of the word, but they're different. Do you know what I mean? Like, how many other clubs have that bond with their manager?
That's true.
Jose Mourinho
I'm not gonna
has
say
been hopping clubs.
I'm not gonna say it's special. I'm not gonna say it's good, but I'll say it's unique.
It definitely is unique. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if it's a positive or a negative thing.
Especially now, when managers get sacked after 4 games, like Frank de Boer.
Oh, exactly.
I mean, does he even know all the players' names after 4? I mean, I've been in classes where the teacher doesn't know my name for the whole first quarter. It's like one quarter of the year, and I still have to keep a note card on my desk with my name. It's ridiculous.
So do you think that's hurting Arsenal as a club in the long run? Is the fact that they've almost been blinded by that?
Yeah, I mean, people think the banter era, as it's referred to. I mean, the banter era is still pretty much going on, especially with Alexis going to give like Man City another 10 points on top.
Yeah.
That's on top of the table. I mean, it's just mad. I mean, for 25 million, when you got Coutinho out here going for 150.
I think that's
What do you think?
I think that's excellent.
What do you think about that?
I
150.
think he'll do well because the Barcelona midfield is old.
That's true.
They're still so high class. Do you know what I mean?
It reminds me of Bayern a little bit.
But
With Robin.
yeah, like Philip Lahm.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
That are
And
finally
like
just getting
Schweinsteiger.
That are finally just getting phased out for players like Kimmich.
Oh yeah, and like the youth And like Coutinho's what
I think he's 20.
young mid 20 yeah
20s,
23
yeah.
24 something like that.
Mhm.
Our master researcher Drew over here with
25.
his PC. I think he's definitely gonna do good things. I don't think it'll be this season.
Uh-huh.
I think he'll be integrated into the squads. Do you know what I mean?
Is he a club legend?
I think he could be. I do think he could be.
You always see a Brazilian attacker go to Barcelona, and you think, I've seen that before.
Yeah, right.
You know what I
a
mean?
Brazilian attacking mid.
And then all of a sudden, your boy goes to PSG, and you.
He's
get
hopping
knocked out.
around, AC Milan, all that.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't think. Obviously, nobody. Well, I don't want to say nobody because I wasn't into soccer at that point. But like, how many people knew Ronaldinho was gonna be Ronaldinho when he first signed for the club? You know what I mean? Obviously, he'd been proven at bigger clubs.
Mhm.
But I'll say that about different like high transfers. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, is Neymar gonna end up living out the rest of his days at PSG?
I doubt it.
I don't think so.
But how is anybody gonna pay for him?
It's a lot.
they're gonna-
Maybe he's just gonna mug everyone off like Zlatan and go on a free.
Yeah, I think in the future we're gonna see so many free contracts.
Well, I think it's like, it's ridiculous. The prices are so high.
You think football's gone mad?
Nearly.
I say it's. I looked at Neymar for 220 million, and it almost seems surreal.
What is that? Euros, sterling,
I think it was euros.
dollars?
I mean,
What's
it's still a lot of money in it.
Oh yeah. Regardless, once you get into those digits,
Mhm.
you might as well be writing phone numbers.
Mhm. But I mean, and then players like Mbappe, who I'm pretty sure didn't he go for 150?
I think Mbappe is
I'm pretty
overrated.
technically he's on loan to to go along with financial fair play.
I feel like if we had a bigger following, I'd get some flack for saying that, but I think Mbappe is not.
166 million pounds.
How long ago was it that Pogba was
Went
like,
for 100 million.
everyone was like, that's
Oh my God.
crazy,
Uh-huh.
never again. He's
I feel like almost like Neymar broke the market.
yeah, he's like, that's so much
Like
money
people have been
behind
going
a
up with
person.
in like increments. So like it was Ronaldo, then it was bringing in Gareth Bale for a huge fee, and then it was bringing in freaking Neymar for double, like, and we're not talking double 25 million.
Yeah,
You know what I
literally.
mean? It's like, and then you look, and if you look back at players like Alexis Sanchez, who have been picked up from Barcelona, like on contract for like less than 40 million.
Was there conflict there with management and him?
I think he just didn't. fit the
Because how
club.
long was he there for? A year?
I think he was there for like 2 or 3 years because he was at Udinese.
Mhm.
And then,
Because I know Zlatan was at Barca, and I heard that he had disagreements with
Zlatan gonna be Zlatan.
who was the management there.
Where at Barca?
Yeah.
Was it? It wasn't Pep. Who I can't remember.
No,
who just-
I think it might have been Pep.
Oh yeah,
That was a while ago.
because it was like with like Eto'o and stuff.
Like, that was way back.
31 million pounds for Alexis Sanchez.
Christ.
And then I'm pretty sure Ozil was actually the club record. That's 42. Well, obviously now Lacazette has surpassed that.
He
mean, you
came
gotta-
from Rama. Oso
Real.
did?
No, he came from Real.
Yeah, Rama did.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I said Roma.
Oh, no.
I mean, you can't lie though. Arsenal, they pick up some deals. They don't spend their money a lot.
Allegedly, that's what I hear from Arsenal fans and only Arsenal
When
fans.
they do spend money, they usually get a snag.
They
But then the
do
problem
spend
is-
money. The buses, high quality, mate.
the training ground.
The
have you-
sandwiches. Have you seen their sandwiches?
Have you seen the cinematography on the YouTube channel? it's top notch.
Dude.
Beats Manchester City's channel by a long. Manchester City's channel is pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie.
Quick question: how does every player get a perfect like jump shot that makes it look like they're literally like 13 feet in the air?
And,
Do you know what I mean? It's always that angle.
Yeah, and they always post on. They see him posting on Instagram. It's like, wow, this guy's so good.
And then you see a different angle, and he's literally 4 inches off the ground.
All of a sudden you see a different angle, and it's El Neni 4 inches off the ground, missing the ball completely.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Just not even hitting the ball.
angles are flattering, man. Some are. Ankle breaker Aka.
El Neni needs to get. I mean, I've said it once. I'll say it a million times. He needs to get out of the club. Why? What are you saying? Like, and don't tell me that he played. FC Basel plays Champions League football every year and gets whooped every year. I almost feel like the Premier League should get another Champions League spot, because you just look at the top 6 and you think, well, none of those teams don't deserve not to be in European football, do they?
Yeah.
It's kind of it's a tricky one, isn't it? I mean, when I always think
I think they didn't for a while, but I think it's gonna change soon.
especially with
They're really gonna fight.
with Tottenham not really challenging for the trophy.
Oh, I mean, they did.
No, I mean in the last recent.
Oh yeah.
They definitely have, but back to 5 years ago or so.
They gave Dortmund a run for their money.
And they beat Real.
Mhm.
I mean, say what you want about Real right now.
Questionable. Definitely not at their peak. Still gonna run over everyone.
In Champions League, they're like,
UEFA Drid.
it's like we got Champions League. It's not
What do you think is more important for them?
for them, like in general, or just
Yeah,
or,
continental success
or
or
people. Well, okay, I'll start on a specific level. I think at this point they're 16 points off top, so they're pretty much like Man United or Chelsea in the league, but they're in 4th.
yeah.
Does that even qualify them for Champions League? I'd have to take into that, but they almost have like this rep that says they always perform well in the Champions League regardless of how well they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, they do qualify automatically. Okay, I don't agree with that.
What?
4, so the top 4 in La Liga get Champions League,
Oh dear Lord.
and the top 4 in Premier League get Champions League. I don't.
It
agree
should
with
be
that.
the top. It should be the top 3. It should just automatically be the Madrids and Barca.
Valencia is 3rd though, and they've been doing well. They have been doing well.
If they challenge, but would they challenge anyone
Yeah, that's true.
across the country?
And because you look at them, and they probably focus everything into the league.
Yeah, like
You know.
they don't have anything else to focus on. Are
I
they?
don't-
What are they struggling in? Europa League? Who won it last year?
Man United.
Sevilla? Oh no! Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you're thinking of the
I'm
two, I
thinking
think
of
2 years
2 years
prior.
ago. That's what I'm thinking of. They beat out Liverpool.
I don't even know.
They've got almost like a little like grudge match nowadays. Liverpool and Sevilla. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a good game. Instant classic. It's like that. Oh, dude. My favorite Champions League. I love seeing Barcelona play PSG in the Champions League.
It's quality.
Or even more than that, PSG versus Chelsea. That's a classic.
Dude, I remember watching, I think it was like 4 years ago now, watching one of them, I think it was like in the round of 16, and I didn't even know what I was watching. Like, I knew soccer, and I liked it, but it was before I had really picked up on watching soccer.
Like, especially like IRL.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was just watching it as a neutral. And then I think
David Luiz scored that header.
that was wild, yeah.
Is that the one you're talking about? Yeah.
Yep. And Thiago Silva gave up a PK and then scored to make up for it.
Yeah.
That game was wild, dude.
But yeah, like you just have those games are just
And then I think like that year I saw Chelsea play Man City in
in the
Louisville.
international like Champions
Yeah,
Cup.
in just like a friendly.
Dude, I really hope we get some good teams coming back.
Not
Locally.
Sevilla v FCC.
That was actually Valencia, which is kind of funny.
Oh yeah, no. I meant Valencia, not Sevilla.
Good tangent into local club.
Local club FCC lost our only good players this year. We are
Acquired-
about to be bent over in the
You-
league.
Apparently
God, where did we end in the league this year?
6th.
6th? That is atrocious.
Why do all the teams I support end up in 6th? I swear. I don't know. They're in such a weird spot. I mean, the whole MLS, like, no promotion relegation system.
It's
I get it. You like your money.
yeah.
But we like the football.
It's literally, honestly, the biggest reason is because nobody has a pair to invest money.
Mhm.
Everyone, whenever somebody makes a club, they're like, I want a safe investment,
Yeah.
so I don't want to take any chances here.
They just want to make money off of it.
Well, yeah, and they just want a
And they don't wanna-
safe investment.
And they don't want to spend their money. They just
Oh,
wanna make
exactly.
it. Train. You don't hear that train in the background?
Train nasty.
But yeah, I mean, the whole, like, I hate being at the mercy of a council.
A board, yeah.
Yeah, like a board, to know if we're gonna go up into the MLS or not. Like, basically, if you don't know how the system works, you have to submit like a bid with stadium plans, infrastructure plans, long-term financial goals, and you have to. I mean, you pretty much have to prove that you can be a stable source of income for the MLS and its investors.
Yeah.
Instead of whereas in England, if you're in top 4, if you're the first, second in the second English tier league, which is called the Championship, you're up to the Premier League. If you're in like 5th through 3rd, you go to a playoff. So then I know that the numbers aren't exact, and then if you're 18, 19, or 20th in the Premier League, you go down. Like, it's simple as that. There's no paying people off.
Mhm.
I mean, it's so much simpler. And the way that I don't agree with the way the MLS has handled it at all.
It's a mess. Because it doesn't, obviously having done a fair bit of research on this.
Oh yeah, so
It's like, honestly, that it's kind of a joke. When you look at the U.S. and some of its core beliefs and fundamentals, right? You work hard, you do your best, and you'll be rewarded, right?
Yeah.
It's not like that at all in U.S. sports. Like, if you look at, like, the NFL.
The Browns.
Yeah. What do the Browns get every year for being worst in the league?
The first draft pick.
Yeah, the first draft pick. They get rewarded for being awful. If that is not the most socialist idea you have ever heard that is living in the United States right now, like, people would be having strokes if they thought about it in that light. But that's exactly what it is. It's literally, you're rewarding people for being awful, and you're not punishing those who do well, but you're removing incentives. That's why, like, when you look at the MLS and you have teams like FCC that are constantly beating teams that are in the MLS, it's a joke.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's no skill gap. The only thing that divides them is money.
Yeah. And to be fair, we still make a lot of money.
Yeah, I know.
The only reason we don't make the same amount of money is because, A, we don't have our own stadium. And even in that, we still are we still tie, second in the MLS for...
I think they were second. They were first.
Who was it? It was the Sounders, right?
They were
got,
first in their division.
like...
No, this year Toronto won.
Oh, no, I'm trying to, seats, like attendance.
Oh, yeah.
I forget who tops, but, like, we're not that far off. And FC Cincinnati.
I mean, you see, I think
there's a couple wiki articles.
I think it was either Alexi Lalas. What's the other commentator's name?
I don't know. All I know is the Viking. Alexi Laws is the only one I really like.
It must have been him. I just remember he said the problem with the whole system is that it incentivizes mediocrity.
Exactly.
There's no reason to there's nothing to play for except the playoffs.
Mhm.
And there's
no reason in the playoffs.
There's no reason to not try it in the last 2 games just so you can get a good draft pick.
Mhm.
And like the whole way that the MLS acquires players. Have you seen anything about that? The whole designated player. I don't even understand it myself. Like, it's so unnecessarily complex. Like, players like Alessandrini, Giovanni Dos Santos, David Villa, Andrea Pirlo. Like, there's such a lengthy process with, like, because of how much money they... Not how much money they expect, or not how much money they demand, but how much money they expect. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just... You don't go from being in, like, a top 5 league. You don't just take a huge pay cut.
Yeah, exactly.
To go to a worse league. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, they should be paying you, which I'm pretty sure they do, for the exposure.
Mhm.
And then you end up with a bunch of subpar play. I mean, I could probably name at least a starting 11 from most of the Premier League teams, at least the top 15. But I could not name the starting 11 of the Columbus Crew.
No way. It's
they're just
shambolic.
I've never even heard of these people. Like, I don't even know where they find these people. Are they homegrown? They're just cheap.
They're scraped from the bottom of the barrel, because that's what U.S. soccer is.
Uh-huh.
It's essentially the worst. That's where you go to get old, die.
It's a mixture of super old players that are past their prime.
That can still whip up on most American players.
Like Giovinco.
Yeah, Giovinco.
Mid-tier players whose prime wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
And younger players who show promise but not enough to actually be, like, to get the interest of a good club.
Oh, yeah. That's like...
And Americans.
And Americans. I think I might have talked to you about this before, but Pulisic, excellent player, wonderful prospect. The reason he's going to be good isn't because he's so good. It's because he's good enough to play with the big guys.
Yeah.
It's the fact that he is training with Dortmund and is playing against absolute just tanks in Germany.
Aubameyang.
Yeah.
Royce.
Yeah, exactly. That's like athletically who he's up against, and he is
competing.
He's taking on Jerome Boateng, who has World Cups to his name.
Yeah.
Right.
And so do people on that team.
Yeah, exactly.
So do people on his team.
Yeah. It's just.
I mean, you can't find on the MLS team. You can't find a player that's won a World Cup that's under 30 years old.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Under 33. You know what I mean?
It's David Villa. Does David Villa have one? Oh, I think he's over 33. So.
No, yeah, he's definitely over 33. But Spain won the World Cup in 2010.
So there you go, man. He does fit the requirement of being over 33. So you're right.
Theory confirmed. But yeah, I was reading because like the whole collapse of the U.S. versus Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh my God.
Just saying. It would have been more fair if we only played Trinidad or Tobago. It's not fair to play two teams at once.
Can't play both. Can't play both.
I'll make that joke once and I'll make it a million times. I know it's not funny, but it's...
Always gets a reaction, right?
Good or bad, doesn't matter. I just want to react, some kind of interaction. But after that, like, I just watched a bunch of like rant videos about like how the fundamental structure of not just U.S. soccer but like U.S. youth soccer.
Oh yeah.
Is completely broken. Like with club soccer, which is pretty much the highest level, like high school can only hit such a point because it's limited to
state.
It might not be limited to a city.
It's
public
state
schools.
is the further. There's no.
But it's most definitely limited to state. And with club teams to play at a high level, you have to be rich.
Mm-hmm.
You have to
You have to be able to travel.
You have to be at least a middle upper class family.
Mm-hmm.
At least.
Oh yeah.
Like, and if you're the best of the best, you have to be at like U.S. You have to travel all across the country to play teams.
Yeah, to play these good teams. That's like Lionel Messi, dude. Not a rich man, not a rich child.
Definitely not.
Nobody wanted to pay for his medical bills.
Uh-huh.
So Barcelona was like, all right, we got you. Paid for his medical bills because he was that good. That does not happen in the U.S. You don't have Ronaldo being plucked out of his hometown. Like, all right, you're going to live here at this training ground, and you're going to study and you're going to play.
Yeah, it's like $1,200 to play for a team that really isn't that good. You know, it's like if we were in like England, we'd be playing non-league.
Oh yeah.
We like the Sunday League Plus.
Rec Plus. That's quality.
It's like the quality is not great, but most of us are paying $1,200 just to A, stay fit, and B, have fun. Like, it's not like that anywhere else. Like, none of, like, that, medicine commercials, the U.S. is just, it's just crazy, isn't it?
The world has gone completely mad.
Footballers are going for $200 million. U.S. soccer is fundamentally flawed. Teachers are getting arrested for talking at board meetings.
Okay.
You heard about that, right?
You saw that?
Uh-huh.
I saw that. That was ridiculous.
You watched the video, right?
Yeah.
Did you watch did you watch the original video and her explaining what happened?
I did not watch her explaining the video.
I think it just got released a little bit ago. Like, that just blows my mind.
The dude just he's just like, all right, time for you to go on the ground now.
Uh-huh.
That is so bad.
And it's not like she was
she was
calling. Maybe she was calling out, but like rightfully so. Like, she's saying that there are now 30 classes, and like we've seen this. Like,
oh yeah, Loveland,
first
it's
grade
god
classes
awful.
were like 20 people, right? Mm-hmm. And now they're like 30. And the money is going into the pockets of the administration, not the teachers.
Not the teachers that are
the grunt, like the
they're doing the work. They're dealing with
they're not just the backbone of the school, like, to the education. They're the backbone of the whole country.
Well, yeah, and it's
like, come on.
It's so, God, it's such a shame that they get, like, everyone respects teachers, but respect is not a good incentive for young people to want to be a teacher. Like, I've been thinking about, do I want to teach? And I don't think I could live in a classroom for my entire life. But
it takes a certain type of person, but I don't know what kind of person that is, because teachers are so different. Like,
yeah, and like, it's so rough because I want to be able to affect change through youth, right?
Yeah, I want to be able to, like.
But I also want to be able to feed my family and not hate my life while doing it.
Yeah, like, I want to be able to tap into, like, the youth and tell them, and like guide people and have people think back, like, that, yeah, I enjoyed that class.
Yeah.
Maybe it gave them a release from, like, tough life at tough home life, or like maybe it just, like, maybe they just gained a different perspective because of that class.
Yeah, and maybe it's just the class that gets you through the day. So I know, like, dude, 8th grade, Severing, literally every day, it was, I just got to get to Severing.
English teacher at the end of the day.
It was literally, I go to lunch, I go to Severing, then I have gym, we're out.
Yeah.
Done. Like, I think there might have been one other class. It was like band or something, but I was nonsense, right?
It's kind of interesting. Like, teachers, they're either like they're so impressionable. You know, like, you it's like they either resonate with you like on a personal level, or they might as well just be a computer talking to you.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like I have so many more teachers that I hate than I love.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think that's so awful because it's not their job to be likable.
Mm-hmm.
It's their job to teach you the content. Unfortunately, that's like just
Yeah.
the easiest way to go about that is in a very hateable manner.
Yeah, boy. I mean, it's hard to be creative with that.
Well,
material.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not up to you what matters. It's up
What
to the
state.
state.
Yeah.
Which is kind of arbitrary in itself because a lot of things that I spent lots of time studying, absolute nonsense.
I mean, who needs not know logarithms? Like, what is that crap?
Like, what is this garbage?
I mean, I don't know. I don't really find myself like disliking teachers a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I just find I either find myself really liking them or just feeling just like apathetic.
Just nothing.
It's just I show up and I leave.
Uh-huh.
You know, like I show up, I do homework and I leave. Like I don't have a relationship with a teacher at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like the class could be run by Google.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Dude, I need to show you this video on online studies. The video is called Aristotle for Everyone by CPG Gray. Excellent content, great YouTuber. And he basically talks about in the video how he thinks that eventually school is going to be a bunch of people in a room with a couple moderators, right?
Yeah.
And everyone's going to sit around with their computer, and it's going to be personalized for you, the learning experience.
Super individualized.
Because he's talking about how you've got completely different people all taught for at least like 8 years or at least 8 grades. It's all the same. It's you either know it or you don't. And if you know it, cool. If you don't, you better know it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you have 3 people. You have people that are like they already know the content, so they hate school because it's boring.
Because it's not a challenge for them.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't invoke anything in them.
Or you have the people that miss something at some point, or they're just not motivated enough, so they don't get the content, and then they end up being set back, right? And then you've got the middle third that like it is paced perfectly for them, right?
Yeah.
And that's just the 3 types of people. And I started to really think about that, like, which one am I? And obviously it changes from class to class.
Yeah, for sure.
But like in English class, when we write an argumentative essay every year, and it's the same every year, and we talk about ethos, logos, and pathos every year, I know it already.
Yeah.
I get it. I know what it means. I can explain it to you. Adding 3 new vocab words doesn't make it a new course.
Uh-huh.
So he was talking about how you would basically just have this computer program that would be able to teach everyone at their own pace so that people don't get left behind and people are being constantly challenged so that they don't get bored.
People that just like wake up smart.
Well, yeah.
Can afford can have content.
That's still like if
That
not
isn't-
interest them, at least challenge.
That isn't just one class a day.
Yeah.
Where they're challenged, and the rest is just like, I'm not gonna study for that test. Don't need to.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll just
It's
spend all my time on that.
it's all I have to do is pay half attention in that class. That's why I got a 93 on the history test. I didn't study it down, dude. I just,
Do you feel like school is like works for you?
what do you
I
mean?
I know there are a lot of people that think this educational system set in place isn't tailored to me.
I think it's faulty, and I do think it overlooks a lot of people.
Do you think you're one of them?
I've been successful, but I don't know if that's just See, I don't know how much of that is
Intellect.
me adapting just for the sake of adapting, or if it's maybe it was tailored. Maybe I am that lucky group of people that it's just set for me. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
then I automatically succeed.
Like, I feel like we're pretty similar in that respect.
Yeah. But I definitely think that obviously having Stewart and Severing teach me what teachers want, and also being just entertaining helped a lot.
Good people. I mean,
Just
that's
good model citizens.
That's true.
Like people that I want to like once I get out of high school, be like, hey Severing, what are you doing? Do you want to go grab lunch or something? I'm in the area, right? Like it's people that I just want to catch up with because I enjoyed their presence.
People that you would talk to if it wasn't their job to talk to.
Exactly. Like, yeah, maybe I am that lucky few, or I'm a part of that, or maybe it was thanks to them that I've just recognized that I know the formulas, so I follow them, so I get good grades.
Do you think there are people that have potential, like,
but because they didn't have those,
because maybe not even like because they either didn't have those figures in their educational career, or the system was incompatible with them? Like, do you think there are people that could work the same job as you, someone who is successful, but can't because the way that it's set, like the way the hierarchy is set up?
Oh yeah, okay, so I get you. So like,
do you think that are people that suffer?
I think there definitely are people that suffer, because there are definitely people that can't handle sitting down for 90 minutes a day.
And there are people that can't look at the piece of paper and remember what's on it.
Exactly. I do think a lot of school, the way that you're tested in school is a bit flawed.
Monotonous.
Yeah. So like when I look at math tests, right? And you have to memorize the formulas.
Yeah.
And
some people just can't do that.
Like, yeah, no. Some people just cannot memorize opposite of b times or plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times b over, you know what I mean, right? Some people just can't memorize that, and the people that memorize that, some of them can't apply it. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like what we should be focusing on is not the memorization of those formulas, but the application. Because I'm going to have the formula. Do you know what I mean? Beyond basic math, basic math as in subtraction, addition, multiplication, and division, like mental math, right? So like I see 13 pairs, take away 7, and I know how many pairs are left, right?
Like it's almost like how they should be teaching how can I take this, which I'll always have access to.
Yeah, because I am.
And manipulate it
Exactly.
to how I need it.
So I think there should be more focus, and this is just kind of nitpicking math for the time being.
Not the only subject.
Yeah, not the only flawed subject in the system, but looking at more word problems, because I'm not going to have this presented to me in a very nice bow with all of the numbers already set in place.
That you've done examples of. I mean, you gotta.
Yeah, I that's why I but I would like to see more word problems, because they always say, oh, it's setting you up for real life. What if you're an accountant? What if you're an engineer? Yeah, if I'm an accountant or an engineer, I'm not going to have the numbers preset.
Yeah.
I'm going to need to understand how to take things out of equations and stuff like that. And if you really wanted to prepare me, you should ignore the rote memorization of the formulas and instead focus more on giving me examples, real life examples, not 88 watermelons, and he throws 9 at car windshields, right?
How many are left?
Like that nonsense. I
What's the
want
square root of
to
5?
know. Yeah, exactly. I want to know like real situations. So like if I'm balancing a checkbook, right? I want to know what goes into that. And if I'm working this job, I want to know what spreadsheets I'll be looking at, and I want to know where to pull that data out of and plug it in. Because I feel like now when you look at math tests, you have whatever, 95% just equations,
Yeah.
and then 5% word problems,
end.
right?
Yeah.
At the end. And sometimes sometimes that's the extra credit. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Which is like so bizarre because if you're setting me up for the future, you're putting so little emphasis on the real life aspect of it.
Do you think it's unfair to the people? Because, like, obviously, the reason the system is the way that it is because it works for the majority. Do you think it's unfair to the minority to have it like this way?
I think there are a lot of things in life that should be set more case by case.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But then, in turn, is it unfair to the majority to waste their time like that?
I do see that and the argument there.
I mean, I'm being devil's advocate for the devil. Like,
Yeah.
what's happening here?
It's definitely a tricky situation because when you have government regulized regulated education in the United States, whatever, 300 plus million, right?
Yeah.
In the U.S., that is, and whatever, how many are under the age of 24, right? That's including like pre-med, basically. So like K through 12, all of those people are not the same.
Yeah.
So I think the problem is it's too expensive to be case by case. It's too expensive to look closer into all of the individual needs and instead just focus on the group
You
and
always have to
have
focus on
them
the whole.
adapt. So instead of the program adapting for the individuals, you have the individuals adapting for the program.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously, statistically, they've crunched the numbers,
Yeah, I'm sure.
they've run the calculations, and that's the easier way to do it. But I do think that definitely kicks some people to the curb and
for
doesn't
sure.
give them time to recover.
And there's not even necessarily an answer here.
Yeah, no, it's all just
We're not. I mean,
we're definitely.
just because we're a part of the system doesn't mean we know.
Yeah, it doesn't mean we know the best. Obviously, the
People that know-
higher ups would give us
There-
completely different
there are
arguments with different.
There are people
Evidence.
that know what's best for the majority.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just interesting to be able to do something that people high up may not be able to do, which is observing the minority.
Yeah, because those people have been out of school for 50 years, probably. If you think about it.
And look how much the system has changed.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, everything's online. The curriculum has gotten more difficult.
Mm-hmm. Oh
You
yeah.
know?
If you're gonna
People are being held to a higher standard.
see, I was thinking about this recently. Do you think that honors level classes should be moved down to integrated?
Are the norm.
Yeah, because if you think about it, right now, if you don't, obviously, maybe it's just our like friend group, but if you're not taking honors English,
Then you're the outlier.
yeah, there's more people taking honors English than there is regular English. So
And maybe that just comes down to the people we associate with.
yeah, because I definitely do. Maybe there's a bit of
definitely-
selection bias there.
I definitely don't pick my friends based on how smart they are, but I just tend to gravitate towards people that are like me.
Yeah, true. So like,
But it does feel like it feels like if you're not in the honors level class,
you're set
below,
behind.
You're
yeah.
below average. You're not average. You're below average.
Yeah, I do think that you're right. That standard is being raised, which is a good thing. That is like a very
Yeah, I
good
mean-
thing. When you look at national test scores around the world, we're not up there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I do think maybe honors level classes, they need to be knocked down a peg and say this is your base. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then maybe to conclude here, I think we've been going on for a while. We gotta save something for the next podcast. Do you think that kids have to do too much now?
Too much
mean,
as in
Because you see colleges like Ohio State
Mm-hmm.
that have been public and they've been like historically not that difficult to get into.
Yeah.
And rightfully so, because they're a public school. I mean, it's not like, and it's not some obscure school. It's Ohio State. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's like UC.
very prominent, yeah.
You know, like people don't go because it's tailored to their needs necessarily. They go because their family has gone there, regardless of like their intellect.
Yeah.
But do you think like teenagers are having to do too much to satisfy these kind of colleges?
I do think there are a lot of lofty standards.
Like,
Being
do you think
said
the
as well.
bar has been raised too high?
I think I don't know if it's late enough to see. Do you know what I mean? Like if
Yeah, I mean, I think surely it'll keep getting higher, won't it?
I hope so. But I hope it's at the right rate. That's the balance, right?
Yeah.
Is you want our society to be more intelligent, better problem solvers.
But you can't alienate the people that are.
Yeah, but you can't just leave behind the slowest of the pack, right? So that's when I think it needs to come in to have more individualized help
Yeah.
while not making them feel like individuals. Because nobody wants to be the dumbest in a room. Nobody wants that. And nobody wants everyone to know that. So when you say, oh, well, I'm in English with enrichment and everyone else is in honors English, it's very alienating. So then you have people in those enrichment classes that are refusing those classes and forcing
And waving
themselves
themselves into something that isn't,
that it isn't fit for them.
and it's detrimental to them in the long run.
Yeah, so then that hurts their mental health in a lot of cases, right? You've got people having sleepless nights,
Yeah.
insomnia that is not good on your body.
And still performing poorly in the class.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it just creates that cycle of you're not doing well, so you stay up late to study, so you're tired in the morning, so
And you
you
can't
don't
think
do well
right.
in class, so
And you see, like, there's this like new breed of just varsity athletes, like that have
That
4.0.
yeah, and that's the average
And
too.
take AP classes. And that's like the threshold for like getting into like a prestigious university.
Yeah, like that's what you need you need to be varsity letter,
You
4.0,
You have to be
high
so
scores SAT,
well-rounded.
and
you have to play an instrument and
you need to be volunteering and which
I'm not. It's not a lot. Okay.
Yeah, it
Don't,
really-
Like, I don't like. I'm not. I don't want to like get. I don't want to come across as me feeling entitled.
like, oh, woe is me, all of the work I have to do.
Freaking millennials, entitled. Think they're entitled to everything. Like I don't want to come across like that. But sometimes you just have to like take a step back and think, this kid can't be good at everything.
Yeah,
Like he can just be good at some things.
that is like another thing that just historically, right, we've gone from being, how do I want to say that? You went from being well-rounded in everything to being very specialized because, oh, well, that's the guy that can do that. Then
Yeah.
that means I have more time to do this. He has time to do that. And now we're going back to everyone needs to know. It started off as the basics of everything. Like you need to know basic math, basic science, basic English, and then you're
And then you
good
can
to go.
excel
Yeah,
in these
and then
areas.
you can choose what you want to do. But now that basic level, so much higher. Which, as much as I keep, like, the tone is very negative and, like, very, like, it's a dangerous way to be going, but that is ultimately a good thing. I just think we need to be
Like there's so
intelligent and careful.
there's so much competition.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like I just look, I look back, I look at my like transcript. It's like, all right, Dove, I have like a 4.0 unweighted GPA, and I look at it, I'm like 50th in the class. I'm like,
Yeah.
Who are these people getting?
Who is above me right now?
Taking
Connor's
8
like 4th? 5th?
Yeah, a friend of ours.
Wild.
He starts varsity soccer. Like, plays in the band. Does community service.
Good lad all around.
Gets chicks.
The females.
Is a year ahead in math. Like, it's mental.
Hey.
How you're.
Yeah, no, I was asking him about a question in math. He was like, "Oh yeah, hi, do you know how to do these guided proofs?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, no, I remember doing that in 7th grade."
It's like, I remember
And I was
doing
like,
that
"Oh,
3
brilliant."
years ago. It's like, I'm not better at anything than these people. it's like Connor, you talk to me. He's like, yeah, I'm just not as good at English. I'm like, that's it though.
That's it. That's it.
That's literally it.
It's like, and even not being that good is still like acceptable. Like his weakest point is like still up there for many people.
All right, that's probably a good way to end it off, isn't it?
Ah.
You know what? I didn't.
First one down, many to go.
Didn't anticipate it to be this long. Going on an hour 40.
That's quality though. I
It is,
like
yeah.
that.
And I feel like there's still a lot to talk about. So definitely stay tuned. All 5 of you.
All 5. Didn't even get into females.
Big shit.
I was thinking about it.
That'd be a whole podcast.
That'll
We've gone for
literally be
3
a
hours.
whole podcast.
Thanks for listening. If you did, big shout out to the True Jordy.
The True Jordy inspiration.
I just hit 100 podcasts recently. Really a role model. So a lot of young boys. We'll shout them out. Worth a listen. I'll put them a link in the description.
In the description, absolutely.
All right. Thanks for listening. Hope to see you again.
Adios.